council meeting a little bit different. I'd like to ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence. Shirley Ann Goff passed away the 11th of January, the wife of our city attorney, Garland. And I would just think that we would honor her with a moment of silence. One of the things that impressed me in her obituary were the words that she made the best of her time here on earth and lived every day to the fullest. And I think that's a testimony for all of us to remember Shirley. And Garland, I want you to know that you're in our thoughts and prayers. We just, for you and for Tenbrook, we know these are difficult days, but we also know the Lord is a God of great comfort and peace, even in the midst of these difficulties. So please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. I'd ask you to join me with a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Karen, I'd ask if you'd call the roll, please.
Eileen Kane. Here. Ray Enderby.
Here.
Bill Lukens.
Here.
Martin Meyer. Bob Nelson.
Here.
Sam Powers.
Here.
Ron Richards.
Here.
Allison Ritterberg.
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda, and again remind all council members that if there is a conflict of interest on any of the items that we'll be voting on tonight, that you would notify the entire council.
I'd like to make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We also have in your packages the minutes from the January 7th council meeting. I'd ask for a motion to approve those minutes.
Move to approve the minutes for the January 7th council meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes from the January 7th council meeting. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I have one comment on the last item under new business regarding the travel request for Marion Barb. The motion was moved by Allison and it was seconded by Sam. I think the second is missing from the minutes.
Okay, good catch. Are there any other corrections to the minutes? If not, all those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You have in your packages bills in between for $329,286.59. I would accept a motion to approve those bills in between.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills in between for $329,286.59.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the bills in between. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You also have in your packages a list of current claims for $11,289.69, along with 2018 accounts payable of $9,074.09. I would accept a motion to approve those current claims and accounts payable.
I'll make a motion to approve the current claims for $11,289.69 and 2018 accounts payable for $9,074.09.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve those current claims and accounts payable. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is communications from the public. Are there any communications from the public? Seeing none, we'll move on. We do have a public hearing at 7:10. Our next item on the agenda is personnel. I would accept a motion to approve the personnel action listed on your agenda.
I make a motion to, what was I doing? Making a motion for the personnel action A, Tyler Owens, EPMS lifeguard, last day effective 1/7/19.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve that personnel action. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we'll continue on into committee reports, administrative and finance. Bob?
The next meeting will be February 4th, 1 o'clock at City Hall.
Okay, thank you. Airport Advisory Committee, Bill.
Next meeting will be Thursday, January 31st at 8 a.m. at Hot Springs Airport.
Thanks, Bill. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management District, Ron.
We met 10th of January at 7 p.m. here at the Mueller Civic Center. Directors present were from Fall River County, Custer County, Hot Springs, Edgemont, City of Custer, Buffalo Gap, Fairburn, Pringle. Forage was absent. Treasurer's report, Tonnage and Roll report were read, approved. Motion was made and approved to begin bidding process for a new trash compactor at an approximate cost of $666,000. Procedures were discussed and implemented for replacement of Deputy Secretary Treasurer Linda Mines, who is retiring March 16, 2019 after 20-plus years of service. Opening will be posted in local papers, resumes in at Barker Company in Edgemont, not later than 11th of February. There will be a special meeting February 21st, 6 p.m. at the Mueller Civic Center for interview and selection. Meeting adjourned at 8:30 p.m. Next regular meeting, 14th of March, Mueller Civic Center at 7 p.m.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Downtown Historic Preservation Commission, Harleen.
There was no meeting this month, and next month it will be held on Wednesday, February 6th at 5 o'clock in the library.
Okay, thank you. Evans Plunge Advisory Committee, Allison.
Evans Plunge Advisory Committee met on January 10th at Evans Plunge. Casey Carruthers, Sandy Ferguson, Chris Hansen, Kathy Wren, Tom Nays, and Marie Smith, as well as myself, were in attendance. We had a couple members express, or a couple people from the public express interest in becoming part of the committee, so they will address that with the mayor. We had Misty Summers Walton come in to address the EPMS financials and bond issue, and there was just questions regarding the payments and principles, and she did a really good job going over that with the group. There was discussion for the planning of closure, and Tom went over the extensive list of things that need to be, that they're going to be working on, which includes the pool walls, a bunch of maintenance, the putting up some of the lobby shadow boxes, stripping the lockers, hot tub filters, pool signs, working on the slides, observation decks, getting paint on the floor, some work outside on the outside pool, repainting the frog side. So they have a lot on their list coming up for that closure.
And Allison, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt it. We've got a public hearing I would like to open the public hearing now. We'll be considering the 26th Street Water Distribution System Improvement District Assessment Roll. And as we open this public hearing, you do have a resolution that we'll be considering later. Those property owners are listed in that, and the assessment is based on the amount of property or the number of lots that the individuals are owned. You'll note that the interest rate is 5.25. Individuals will have the chance of paying the assessment in total without any interest, or a 10-year at that interest rate at 5.25. And correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, that interest rate was a comparison of the local bank rates that were listed, and the 5.25% was the lowest of those, and that's done in accordance with South Dakota codified laws to look at those interest rates. I did check with the Commissioner of School and Public Lands today, Ryan Bruner, because the state of South Dakota does own a portion of those lots, and I knew that Ryan probably would not be here to testify at this public hearing, and he mentioned that there was no conflict from the state of South Dakota. They favor the assessment district seeing it as a potential for development and to be able to have water to those particular lots. So we will be voting on a resolution later. Are there any comments from the public? Are there any comments from the council? Hearing none, I just also want to say appreciate the patience of the residents. I know that I think several of the residents would have liked to see things go a little quicker, but we have to make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and that we do things in appropriate order in accordance with our ordinances and South Dakota law. Also want to thank our city engineer, Tracy Bastian. The reason that we're able to do this at a significantly reduced cost is because he's utilizing a grinder technology to dig the ditches necessary for the water lines, as opposed to having to use a jackhammer, which would have taken a considerable amount of time and considerably more expensive. So I want to make sure that those comments do get noted. If there are no further comments or questions, we will close the hearing at 7:13. And Allison, after I so rudely interrupted you, you may continue. Thank you.
Okay, so the closing for the Evans Plunge is going to be March 4th through the 17th. Let's see. They are doing $3 Thursdays for seniors, which is now on the front of the plunge, and $3 Fridays. They're having a lot. They said they're getting a lot of traction for the $3 Fridays for kids. I'm hoping that we'll get a little more traction for the $3 Thursdays for seniors. They have some lifeguards, 8 confirmed for the training, so that's looking really positive for the plunge to get some lifeguards in there. And the next meeting will be February 14th at 12 o'clock at the plunge.
Okay, thank you, Allison. Parks, Recs, Beautification and Cultural Development, Marty is not here. Planning and Zoning Commission, Allison.
Planning and Zoning met Wednesday, January 16th at City Hall. Their new business was in regards to the rezoning of Schiff's new ownership of the State Vet's property building, and Brian Spitzer was there to go over some of the information regarding the zoning district and some of the things that they're doing to change that, to make it possible to zone that in a way that works for them. So they will continue to update planning and zoning regarding that. The committee went over the PUD zoning design, which they may be calling just PD design, which is plan development or plan unit development zoning designs. So they went through all of the information and packet to go ahead and move on to the next step, and discussed when the public hearing would be. And so Scott's going to continue to work on that, but they're getting closer to getting that PD zoning design completed and sent to the council. There was a status update on the Rolling Homes Mobile Home Court meeting that was held on the 11th of January. Scott reported that it was a positive meeting and that they were going to put up a fence to keep the kids safe in that alley, and for the water trucks, and so all seems well in that area. And Scott met on January 10th with Joy McCracken of Dakota Land Trust regarding 23rd and Washington Avenue. There is now a realtor sign up for sale, which caused some confusion regarding, because prior, if you remember, that they were going to lease the land. Now there was clarification for us regarding that it's selling the homes that they have, but it will still continue to be under a 99-year lease for that. There was some question regarding the City of Hot Springs Old Armory building. We received a letter from Rosalie Symington, who's an interested party for purchase. So Scott was just letting us know that that has come through, and he's going to do some continual work on that. And they reviewed commission members' term expiration, and everybody looks like they are right where they need to be. We have James, who we thought was done in 2017, but that was cleared. He has another 5 years with us, so he's enjoying that. Yeah, he loves hanging out with us. Okay, we had a member from the airport committee come, Don Connor, who had some questions regarding our webpage, which I'm doing some more research in regards to that. And update regarding old business, the Fall River Hospital expansion construction is going well. No concerns there. Our next meeting will be February 20th at 7 o'clock at City Hall.
Okay, great. Thank you, Allison. Appreciate that update. Public safety, Bill?
Okay, the committee met on January 16th at 2 p.m. at City Hall. Present were myself, Bob Nelson, Tracy Bastian, Airport Manager Ed Jensen, Fall River Emergency Manager Frank Maynard, Chief of Police Mike Close, and City Safety Coordinator Lori Sherrard. We didn't cover any of the old business items, and the only follow-up log item we covered, because Frank was there, we brought him up to date on our efforts to establish a city coordination center for major emergencies. We had one item on our agenda to hear from a member of the public who had a concern about the new traffic regulation or updated ordinance. He got confused on when the meeting was. He actually, I think, showed up for the planning and zoning meeting that night. So he didn't make it to the public safety meeting. He did contact me today by phone, and I took down that information, and we'll be doing some investigation regarding his concern, and we'll either address it at the next public safety meeting, or we'll get back with him on that concern. Regarding new business, and we've talked about this before at Airport Advisory and at the last council meeting, but the activation of the emergency locating transmitter in a plane that landed at the airport was discussed. Action was taken to ensure that the City Police, Fall River County Dispatch, and Hot Springs Volunteer Fire Department have the contact and access information for the airport, and that the Flight Service Center in Fort Worth has local emergency dispatch as well as airport management contact information. And again, on this event, it wasn't so much, we're not taking this action specifically because of this emergency locator went off, but it showed us that we could probably improve some of our emergency procedures in case this had been an actual emergency, as opposed to just an inadvertent activation of this device. Chief Close provided an update of departmental activities over the past month. And the one item I do want to bring up is Councilman Nelson received some feedback from a member of the public that had attended the previous meeting. And he had brought up the concern about suspected drug dealing going on in his neighborhood. And as a result of that person coming to the public safety meeting, Chief Close had put together an action plan, and he and his department have been implementing that plan. And I would like to read essentially a summary of the response from this person. And from an email that Bob had sent, he said he asked me to pass along his thanks for the additional steps the police department has taken to address his concerns since he spoke to you at the last public safety meeting. The neighborhood is much quieter now and everyone appreciates it. So again, we want to thank the public for being willing to come forward and not only say, hey, something's going on, but be specific enough that we can take some action. And we certainly appreciate our police officers being diligent to put together an action plan and then execute that action plan and stick with it. So again, I want to thank everybody for stepping up and participating at an appropriate level for whatever their role is, whether it be citizen or the police department. The meeting adjourned at 3:10 p.m. Now, our next meeting will be Wednesday, February 20th. Heads up, time change. We'll be meeting at 1 p.m., not 2 p.m. I repeat, 1 p.m., not 2 p.m. at City Hall. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Good report. Public Works, Bob and Ray.
Public Works met on January 15th, 3 o'clock at City Hall. Ray Eckerfe, Tracy Bastian, Scott Sobey, and myself were present. It was a short meeting. We have 4 old business items that we're actively following. We've been talking about the electric service panel at the airport. That work is still ongoing. The meeting with Prairie Hills Transit is still trying to be worked out. We're going to sit down and talk with them about the location of a possible building. Energy audit, the company is still working on that. They're looking at the electric bills and looking at the locations for the city buildings. A lot on the corner of University and Chicago. We're still working with that with admin, finance, and the Parks Committee. We didn't have any new business items. Ray, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I have no comments.
Okay. The next Public Works meeting will be January 29th at 3 o'clock at City Hall.
Okay, thanks. Southern Hills Economic Development, again, Marty is not here. Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee, we have nothing to report. Volunteer Fire Department, Ron?
Volunteer Fire Department met on the 8th of January at Hot Springs Volunteer Fire Department, 7 p.m. We commented they had a very light month for December and January, probably 4 calls, so they're very happy that people are paying attention to things and stuff. So they renewed all life insurance policies for all of the firefighters. They add an addendum to the Firefighters Association of them. It's about 20,000, and they add another 150,000 on top of that for firefighters who lose his life. So, and that's available to all the fully enrolled members of the volunteer fire department. Okay. Carl Hall completed 1-year probation, was elected to a full membership. They had a second reading on the drug testing policy, discussed and voted on, motion passed. Adjourned at 7:40 p.m. Next meeting will be 7 p.m. on the 12th of February. I'd like to add just a little bit to the landfill one. That kind of skipped right over here. They're planning another tire collection in early March of 2019. So we get set up for that. They said that was pretty successful. They're still waiting on their trailers, so they got lots of new tires. They also rescinded the projected cost increase in landfill fees and dumping fees, so they're not going to be raising those. So that's it.
Okay, great, thanks, Ron. Comprehensive Plan Coordinator, Sam?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Well, a lot of good committee reports. It seems like a lot more gets done when the mayor's out of town for a week. So thanks, committee. It's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. Greatly appreciated. We move on in the agenda. We're having our second reading of Ordinance 1197. That's the ordinance transferring the 5 lots from rural service to district to urban. Those lots are located in the Boulder Falls subdivision. Is there a motion to approve the second reading of Ordinance 1197?
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of Ordinance 1197, an ordinance transferring 5 lots from rural service district to urban.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to pass the second reading of Ordinance 1197. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, I would ask Karen if you'd call the roll, please.
Harleen Kane,
Yes.
Ray Eckerby,
Yes.
Bill Lukens,
Yes.
Bob Nelson,
Yes.
Sam Powers,
Yes.
Ron Richards,
Yes.
Allison Ritterbusch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That ordinance is passed. You have before you 2 resolutions, the first one being 219-4, the resolution approving the special assessment roll for the 26th Street Water Improvement District. I would accept a motion to approve that resolution. You do have a copy of that in your packages.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2019-4, resolution approving special assessment roll for the 26th Street Water Improvement District.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this special assessment roll. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, I'd ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The second resolution is 2019-5. That's a resolution to approve the 2019 Angostura Irrigation District Water Service Contract. Again, you have a copy of that contract and an explanation in your packages. Basically, this is to continue to maintain our water rights for the airport property. I'd accept a motion to approve that contract.
I'll make a motion to approve 2019-5, a resolution to approve the 2019 Angostura Irrigation District Water Service Contract.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve this contract. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That contract is approved. Moving on to new business, we do have a possible motion and discussion to approve a contract change for the roofing improvement project. That increased $9,142. The reason for that increase basically was as they were doing the roof on the wastewater treatment plant, they did notice some structural damage that needed to be repaired and required additional work. It was unknown at the time the contract was let because the old roof covered that. So that's the reason for that. We did get a saving, Kim, I think it was what, a couple $1,000 from the Mueller Civic Center, which offset some of that, but we still need an additional $9,000 to cover the cost of that structural repair for the wastewater treatment roof. I'd accept a motion to approve that contract.
I'll make a motion to approve contract change order number 1 for the 2018 City of Hot Springs Roof Improvement Project, increase of $9,142.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve that contract change order number 1. Again, you've got the copy of that in your packages. Is there any questions, comments, or discussion?
I'd like to make a comment on top of yours, Mayor Cotty. It's obvious that the work needed to be done. When you looked at the tiles inside the building, you could see that there was water that had come through the roof. We knew there was going to be damage there. Without taking the roof off, you don't know the exact extent of the damage. So an increase is certainly something that would be expected. Once they got it off and saw the extent of the damage, then they needed to do more than they were able to visually looking at the tiles inside the building and external to the building. But it certainly seems to be reasonable that there was an increase in the original estimate.
Okay, are there any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You also have in your packages a very good letter from our finance officer, Misty, explaining the merchant application agreement with ETS that we are looking to purchase for the Southern Hills golf course. And again, this is a package that makes our electronic transactions systems, various ones that we use at the golf course, all compatible together. Not significant cost savings, but it is more efficient, less opportunity for the those that are working behind the counter at the golf course, less opportunity for error. So it marries up our sales software basically with our booking of tee times and so forth. This is an item that was budgeted for in our 2019 budget. I would accept a motion to authorize myself to sign that application and agreement with ETS.
I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the merchant application agreement with ETS for merchant processing services at the Southern Hills Golf Course.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we sign that merchant application and agreement. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion?
I have a question. It mentions that it was budgeted for, so in an attempt for the public to put a cost to that budgeted item, and looking at the Pro Shops budget for 2019, there's an item listed as minor tools, requesting 2 new credit card machines with change of, this is some pretty small print, change of processor to integrate with point of sale. Is that the one that we're talking about? So then for the public's benefit, the cost of that is $1,525.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. We also have a motion and discussion to contract for services with Premier Pyrotechnics for the 2019 fireworks show. Again, if we do purchase these early in January, we do get a increase in product. And this is one of the reasons that Mr. Steve Alexander won the Miser Award, because he's always looking for a way to get a better deal. So we do have, by signing this in January, we do get an increased amount of product. I believe it's 10%. I would accept a motion to approve that contract.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a contract for services with Premier Pyrotechnics for 2019 fireworks. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve that contract for fireworks. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we just pray for good weather on the 4th of July, and we'll have our $5,000 worth of fireworks and a little bit more to celebrate. We do have a couple of travel requests in our packages. Item D is a travel request from Amanda Jensen, children's librarian, to attend the Jumpstart program in Pierre in February, the 12th and 13th. You have that copy of that travel request. I'd accept a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the travel request from Amanda Jensen, children's librarian, to attend the Jumpstart program in Pierre, South Dakota, February 12th through February 13th.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve that travel request. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last item of new business is a travel request from Jason Happy to attend the Golf Course Superintendent's Conference from the South Dakota Course Superintendents Association. That'll be in Sioux Falls in early March. I'd accept a motion to approve that travel.
I'll make a motion to approve the travel request from Jason Happy, Southern Hills Golf Course Superintendent, to attend the South Dakota Golf Course Superintendent Association Spring Conference in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, March 4th through the 6th.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this travel request for Jason. Are there any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to the reports. City Administrator.
I've been missing most of the time between the last meeting and this one, so I can update just on a couple things that I heard tonight. Regarding what Allison had reported regarding our website and having issues with a 404 error, we're in the process of updating our standard website, the www.hs-sd.org. We found out last year that we had kind of taken it over on our own without the full understanding of what's required by federal law if you have a municipal website, and things that you have to provide, the readability whenever it's on a phone, and different ADA requirements. So in our budget for 2019, we had approved going back with Robert Sharp, who were the designers of our original webpage, and we're in the process of kind of updating everything. So you're going to find some glitches to it. You're going to find some things that aren't going to work on a daily basis, but they will get corrected, and we will be moving forward. I'm going to be spending an afternoon with them next Monday to go over some fine-tuning of what we'd like to see happen for our webpage and how it can grow with us as the health and wellness capital of the Black Hills. So that's one thing there, and we will, whenever you do find something, it's okay to let me know too, because we could just do something on one side that we don't realize how it affects another side. So I don't mind if you are really looking for, let's say, the airport master plan and it's not coming up. Let me know that, and we'll make sure that it's something we're doing and not something that we missed. Also, since Marty's not here, I just did want to go over a couple things that we did at the Parks and Rec meeting. Barb Walter had a great presentation for a new expanded disc golf layout at Butler Park, and so that was discussed. We also discussed winter projects with Bart and the rest of the team, including like a tennis backboard and other things that need ongoing maintenance. There was a big kudo out to Charlie, who has been painstakingly repainting all the interiors of our bathrooms to make them more presentable, more brighter color, so that they don't feel so dark and dingy. We Also, made a recommendation to the City Council to purchase excess property from the state DOT at University in Chicago. So that will be coming through at the next Public Works meeting. And we discussed new spring pickleball classes that Kathy Wren is working up, and the tree removal near Brookside. Those were a number of the things that I can just remember off the top of my head. But it was a good meeting, and got a little long, but we got a lot done.
Okay, great, thank you. And Karen, did you have anything from the finance office? I'm sorry.
No, sir.
Okay, I should have just said, Karen, we're ready for your report. Oh, you did. Karen's filling in for Misty tonight. We're glad to have you here, Karen. Thanks. Didn't mean to pick on you. Several things I'd like to just talk about tonight in my report. First of all, had an opportunity today to find out we do have an individual that's interested in being a mechanic at our airport. We're just in a very preliminary discussion stages. And the reason that I wanted to bring that up to the council is if that does pan out, we may be requesting funds to do that hangar upgrade sooner than later. Obviously, we'll take this through the Airport Advisory Board and through admin and finance before we go ahead and make any final decision, bringing the recommendation for a final decision to you, the council. But I wanted you to know about that. One other thing that came up today, we do have. We'll be having some high-altitude helium balloon launches next week from Raven Industries in Sioux Falls. They'll be doing some high-altitude research. I just wanted to let everybody know publicly in case you see these large balloons going up. I don't want reports of UFOs over the feedlot or whatever. But again, it highlights the value of our airport and the fact that it is being used. As most of you know, I attended the tourism conference last week in Pierre. Tourism is the second largest industry in the state of South Dakota. And it's one of our bread and butter industries here in Hot Springs. I just looked at some sales tax figures that Misty provided a couple of weeks ago. And our sales tax revenues are up 2% in 2018. It's interesting to note that in the 4 months of the summer season, we collected 47.67% of those tax revenues in the 4 months of summer. Obviously, that impact comes from those visitors that come to Hot Springs and spend money in our town. That funds our city. I looked also specifically at the liquor, lodging, and dining summer results, and in approximately a 5-month period, that made up 62.2% of all of the resources that we collect for those taxes. So tourism is big for Hot Springs. It's big for South Dakota. South Dakota Tourism does an excellent job in promoting our state. They are a nationally recognized organization. I was pleased to learn that our head of the South Dakota Department of Tourism, Jim Hagan, is an officer on the National Tourism Board and Association, which I think speaks well of our standing. But I think the biggest takeaway that I got from the conference was from Roger Dow. Roger Dow is the president and CEO of the U.S. Travel Association. That's a primary travel organization in the United States. Roger Dow meets regularly with members of Congress, Senate, and even has an opportunity to talk with the President and Vice President concerning matters of visitor. And one of the statements that he made that I cannot shake is he said that tourism is the front door of economic development. And by saying that, what he meant is that people travel to a location first before they decide to settle in a location. And I think we've missed the boat nationally and locally and even statewide to make that connection of tourism and economic development. Because it's so important, those people that come and decide that they really like Hot Springs because of the vacation they had here, may choose in a year, 5, 10 years to move here and live. And that provides workers, provides opportunity for increased revenue from taxes, selling water, and so forth. So maybe some of those might be a small business owner that's tired of maybe fighting the traffic along the Front Range in Colorado and wants a quieter location. They'll come to Hot Springs. So I think it's important that as we look to the future, that we really make that connection between tourism and economic development, because it's a very, very important connection. And that kind of leads me into my next topic. While I was in Pierre, I did have an opportunity to meet with Governor Nolan. It was a 15-minute appointment, and I was pleased to get that 15 minutes. She's very busy as the session of the state Senate and House are going on. I did have an opportunity to provide her an update with our sidewalk. For those of you on council that haven't seen this, I encourage you to take a look at our rendering of what ISG says our sidewalk, overhanging sidewalk, suspension sidewalk can look like. Obviously, Governor Noem was very interested in that. The first thing that she noticed was the red, white, and blue banners that in the artist's conception of the sidewalk, which indicated a patriotic theme, a veterans theme, and she really picked up on that. The governor could not promise us any funds, but did assign one of her senior staff members to work with us to explore opportunities of how we can gain funding for that project and future things that we would have to look at. There's a real positive buzz at the tourism conference about Hot Springs, and in large portion that's due to Governor Nolan. Every time that she speaks, whether it be State of the State, she gave a speech at the tourism conference finale, the gala that we have on Thursday night. And again, she mentioned Hot Springs specifically, that she wants to create our community as a visitor destination for veterans. And I think that that message is getting around to the various departments in state government, and certainly is encouraging to us. She also mentioned that she was willing to write letters of support for us should we have difficulties coordinating efforts with the Corps of Engineers. She realizes the bureaucracy that sometimes hinders progress in those areas. It was a very positive meeting. I appreciated the time, and I think she appreciated the update from Hot Springs. While I was there, I also met with South Dakota Department of Transportation. One of their big concerns is they want to make sure that we can provide them with a location for the in-kind match for the Prairie Hills Transit bus barn that they want to build here in Hot Springs. And we will be looking at that in greater detail, as Bob mentioned, through Public Works. And their concern is they want to make sure that they can get the federal funds obligated within the 2-year period. And I think we're well able to do that. I think there's one final note that I wanted to just cover. If and as Governor Noem continues to talk about Hot Springs becoming the national veterans town, we need to finalize some long-range plans for our community. And that's our job as a council, staff, and the various committees. We have some great potential here. Obviously, the city cannot do everything, but certainly we are off to a good start with trying to provide a gathering spot downtown, a safer environment along River Street, and a place that people can stop and stay longer in our community with the overhanging sidewalk. It's taken a lot of work to get to where we are even now, but I think it's something that we need to continue to keep pressing and moving forward to, because I believe it'll in the long run have great benefits, particularly as we gain national recognition. But there's some things that we need to be open for private-public partnerships. Our community was founded on the healing waters, and we have opportunity. We've had an expert come to our community and say that's a potential that we can develop. Obviously, we as a city don't have the finances, the resource, or the expertise to do that, but there are investors out there that are interested, and we need to support that and push that forward. And again, as I mentioned that to Governor Noem, I think she was very intrigued by the potential possibility of us becoming a place of healing waters. As we look through South Dakota tourism, and they do a lot of research into why people come and visit particular areas. South Dakota scores high in history, adventure, excitement, things to do and things to see. But not once does it mention health and wellness. Health and wellness is the #2 thing that's Googled on Google. Right behind wealth comes health. And if we provide that opportunity for people to find healing and health here, I think we will greatly increase our tourism, and it will be a measure of economic development for us. The other thing that we need to continue to work on is we need to get some hotel and motel rooms. If we're going to become a national designated city for veterans to come to, they need to have a place to stay, so we don't send them up to Rapid City or to Custer or Hill City or Pringle or some other place. We want them to stay here. And again, that's something that we as a city can't do specifically, but we can make an environment that can happen. And then, obviously, we are working and will continue to work on workforce housing, because as we increase the number of people that we have here in Hot Springs and become the veterans town, we're going to need places for people to live. These things cannot be done by myself or by any one of us alone. They have to be done with a team. And we've got a lot of people that can work together, committees that you chair and work with, our city staff, the Chamber of Commerce, SHEDCO, SHIF, and we need to partner also with the state where we can, and private individuals. But I think if we do work together, we've got a tremendous opportunity to push Hot Springs forward, to be all that we can be destined to be. And I really truly believe that the best is yet to come for Hot Springs. So I encourage you to keep at it, and it seems like sometimes you take 2 steps forward and you end up taking a step or 2 back, but we're going to keep pressing because the best is yet to come. Thank you. With that said, I'd accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Karen, we're going to have you every time, more or less.